Update time!
So I think it's time to give you guys a little bit of an update.
Yeah.
A lot has happened in the past few months, as everybody is very well aware.
I feel like even with quarantine, we had to slow down some things, but life still seemed to go by just as fast.
It feels like quarantine and lockdown has been like 6 months long.
But it went by fast.
It has, but it's so hard to remember anything that happened before. It was like a 6 month ago.
It's like, oh, it's May? Or, oh, it's only May?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it's March 74th.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
March was a weird month, yes, I agree.
Yeah.
But in Idaho, things are starting to open up. We're in phase 2 as of last Friday, the 15th. So people are starting to get out a little bit more, and not so much out, because here in Idaho, being outdoors is kind of the thing to do. But now the parks are open, and restaurants are open, and so...
And you can tell there's more people on the road.
Yeah.
So I've been working from home since March. It's kind of been a bit of an adjustment for me. Thankfully I work in technology, so remote work is pretty natural for us. And then Kim, she's a teacher now, even though she was a teacher for a while. So she's just finished homeschool teaching.
So I used to be a preschool teacher for 10 years. This was my second year of not teaching and being a stay-at-home mom. And I had to revert back to being a teacher, but not preschool. I had to go into kindergarten teaching. And while kindergarten is still pretty easy, Eliana's school is really fast-paced. And with it being the end of the school year, they were learning first grade stuff. And while it's easy to me as an adult, I don't know how to teach that to a 6-year-old. So I was getting a little stressed out, and I had to step back, just let it be. Because you know what? In the end, she's doing her schoolwork, she's going to first grade next year, and I'm just hoping that everything is just back to normal in the fall.
Yeah. So probably needless to say, there are a lot of parents who have a newfound respect for their kids' teachers.
Yes.
As they became a teacher temporarily.
You know, their teachers were making videos and putting them out every day. I mean, of everything, you know, like calendar and counting and days of the week. They did a welcome video every single day. They did their language, their reading, their math. They did a scavenger hunt, field trip. I mean, so many things.
They put a lot of time and energy into it.
I mean, when I used to be a teacher, you know, if you had to choose between missing a day because you were kind of sick or being there, it was just easier to be there because prepping stuff for somebody else to teach your kids, it's not easy. So yes, thank you to all the teachers out there for all the hard work you do. And I know it wasn't easy ending the school year like this. So. Alright, so now we're going to give a little update about our goals. And that was one of our very first videos that we put out at the beginning of the year. And while we haven't put a lot of focus on our goals, when we look back on the last few months, we've seen that we actually have had progress towards those goals. So we're going to share a little bit of that progress right now, and maybe even where we failed on some of those goals and how we want to do better at them. So my main goal was to decorate, organize the whole house. I think since we've started, especially with the quarantine, you know, the office could still use a little bit of work, but I think...
You've gotten rid of a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I've gotten rid of a lot of stuff. Closets are organized. Every room has its little spaces where things go. And even the garage is...
Getting there.
It's getting there. So yeah. And then if you watched our Easter video, you would have seen that finally got a desk, and I love the way it looks. And once I get it completely organized, maybe when our office gets organized, we can show you a little tour.
Part of the reason we got a desk for Kim, besides the fact that she was using a folding table, the reason she was using a folding table is because I started working from home full time.
Yeah.
Once quarantine hit and we were no longer going to the office, I was using the computer that she uses to edit the videos. That really didn't give her a lot of time to be working on videos.
No.
And so now since, you know, in the past few weeks we've got Kim a desk and we've got her computer set up now on her desk. I've brought my computer from work, and the situation in the office is much better.
Yeah.
And while we haven't really hit our goals on trying to do a video every week, we're going to be getting a little bit more organized with our time and schedule and planning on videos so we can try to get back in that rhythm.
So I think going along with trying to be more consistent with our videos, we kind of want to do, I was describing it as kind of like a news channel. And not necessarily with a bunch of segments in one video, but just trying out something different, like a cooking video with the girls, or like do something with organizing or decorating or crafting, making a video about that. So we're just gonna like play around with it and see how it goes. We're gonna try to do more planning where we actually write down our ideas for videos. What days do we want to film it? What days do we want this video to come out? We actually said this in our first video. When you have that plan written down, it just makes all the difference in the world.
One of the goals I had, which is very uncertain if I'll be able to pull it off, was to cook gumbo at the Soul Food Festival. I haven't heard officially from the coordinators, but I have a pretty good assumption that the Soul Food Festival in the form it was in last year is not going to be happening. I'm postponing cooking at the Soul Food Festival, but before coronavirus kind of hit Idaho, and before the quarantine and lockdown happened, I was actually able to cook gumbo for a friend's birthday party, and that was for 50 people, so not quite as large as the Soul Food Festival, and that was a pretty big success. So I would consider that, at least for the most part, reaching the goal of trying to cook a really large batch of gumbo.
And I think that's a good way to look at goals too. You might have a goal set, but just because you can't reach that final point of the goal doesn't mean it won't ever happen. It might be a work in progress longer than you wanted it to be. So.
And it goes to show you that some of the things you'd like to do as goals, you can't control. And so you gotta kind of be nimble and be willing to adjust.
So now that we've kind of given an update on our individual goals, we kind of wanted to give a little bit of an update on our BHAG. And if you haven't watched the first video, the BHAG is a big, hairy, audacious goal. It's one of those things that it's kind of like a long-term goal. Like, it's okay if it takes you quite a few years to get there. Our big, hairy, audacious goal, or our BHAG, was...
No debt, pay off the house.
Yeah, just no debt. And that is our only debt, is our mortgage. It's one of those things that we'd like to see disappear one day.
This past year, we've kind of been playing with the idea of selling the house, which would mean we have no debt, but things get a little bit complicated because then what do you do after that? We've been getting our house ready and kind of thinking of projects to do to get it ready to sell. So we don't have an exact date of when we're going to sell, but we kind of expect it to be sometime around spring, early summer. So we've got a few projects we've been working on. We started replacing the floor in the kitchen and the downstairs. That project's done now. Kim has been painting everything. So the entire house was tan. She's been painting all the downstairs walls are gray now.
Downstairs is done.
Looks great. The ceiling is white, and it was previously tan. So she's done an awesome job painting, and she's on her way upstairs. So that project's underway, and so we've been trying to wrap some of these things up so that if we do feel led to sell the house, as far as timing goes, we're going to be ready. So we've kind of been looking at this problem really close, right? It's kind of hard to get some perspective when you're just right in front of it. So we're going to reach out to a couple we know that has a lot of wisdom. They've done well financially, they've seen a lot of stuff, and hopefully they can give us a little perspective. In the meantime, we've been getting stuff ready to sell, so that at least if we do need to sell, if we decide that that's the step we got to take, we don't have to do a bunch of work. So Kim had a goal this year of learning an instrument. I think you were leaning towards the guitar.
Yeah.
So one of the weeks during quarantine, we took groceries to my parents, and my dad actually loaned us a guitar. And so we have spent a little bit of time, and I say we, so along with Kim, I thought it'd be kind of fun to learn how to play the guitar too. So we've both been trying to learn how to play the guitar. Kim knows more chords than I do, so I'm a little bit behind her, but it's been kind of fun.
And we're very much at the beginning, but I think maybe a year later, I'll actually be able to play a song. It's funny how when I was first starting to play, and I was like, oh my goodness, just learning one chord, I was like, how do people do this? But now I can switch between 4 or 5 chords. Not fast, but it's just really fun.
I got a question. Do you play the air guitar differently now?
I actually haven't tried, so that'll be interesting to see. Because it's funny, because when you play the air guitar, you're all like...
I think you were doing a lot more strumming.
When you play the air guitar, you're like moving all these fingers, but it's like really like these fingers...
They don't move that often.
They don't really move that much, so it's funny.
We'll have to try next time.
It'll be funny. When an air guitar comes on next time, we'll see how I do. And it's really funny, because we're not musically inclined at all.
Nope.
So it's like we're listening to a song and it's like, I have no idea what chord that is. So yeah, I couldn't even try to play along if I wanted to, but yeah.
But you use the word chord.
Yeah. Or key, or tone, whatever, I don't know. But
pitch is a word.
Hopefully, by this time next year, if I continue slowly on this path, maybe I can play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
I think we'll do that sooner than later.
Mary Had a Little Lamb. I know how to do it on the keyboard, so
yeah. So hopefully, now that we're kind of getting a little more organized, and Kim has her own office space, she's got a computer that she has access to, and now I think really that the girls are out of school, now that you're not a teacher,
Yes.
right, you're going to have a lot more time
Big difference.
to get back to working on videos. Hopefully, with some of the changes we've been making, we'll start to be a little bit more consistent. And we're looking forward to trying out a new, a couple of different types of videos like we mentioned. So as we start working on some of these different ideas, hopefully you guys can give us a little bit of feedback and let us know what's most interesting, as we kind of haven't really found our niche yet. I think it's fun just in general to make videos, but it would be nice if we found videos that you guys thought would be interesting.
Right.
So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and put those in the comments below. If you like this update, hit that thumbs up. And if you guys aren't a subscriber and you're interested in some of the ideas we've got, hit that subscribe button.
We really hope you enjoyed this video, and we hope you can stay on this journey with us to see all the new changes that are coming about, and hopefully we can keep you a little bit more updated sooner rather than 6 months later on how life is going. Hopefully you can stick around for the fun and see what life brings us.
Hopefully you guys are staying safe, and we'll catch you guys on the next video.
Bye.